Good afternoon, it's Artzenin. It's happening. I tried so hard to avoid this. This particular character. In Life is Strange, there is a girl that at first seemed to be completely against Max. But in the end, especially if you choose the right options, she wound up being Max Caulfield's friend, ally. In Double Exposure, she pops up. And that girl's name is Rivera Chance. I personally was trying to avoid bringing in Victoria. Don't get me wrong, I was going to Christianize just about everybody, but Victoria, I was fine letting go. And now, after writing a new addition into Maxine's journal that I just dropped, you should check it out if you haven't already. Rivera Chance, who was just a character that I was fooling around with, was supposed to be an original character, somehow fits the Rivera Chance profile. In a way, she's nothing like Victoria. Victoria is way more self-centered, at least the way she projects herself, how she handles herself. It's all about Victoria, but she does have good points to her. But Rivera, unlike Victoria, she is actually secretly invested into Maxine and Deja. Now, friend zoning either of them is not really in Rivera's destiny. She doesn't care to really be close to either of them. But at the same time, she is jealous of the true soulmate ahava relationship that those two girls have. Now, when Amber Fierce comes on set and Deja and Amber become soulmates, their bestie status just surprisingly wows Rivera. Rivera basically, in my opinion, as her creator, has everything she could possibly ever want. Everything. She has money. She has rep. A great future ahead of her. She's super smart. She's intelligent in ways that rival a lot of the kids in her class. She has the highest GPA score. She's even in one of those programs where you're still in high school, but it's called Accelerate. At least in my story, it's going to be called Accelerate. In Accelerate, that program means you can take high school courses and even start building a few credits your freshman to senior years of high school. Rivera did that. And she's been doing that, evidently, for a while. And she has dreams to open her own photography business because, like Maxine, she wants to be a photographer, but she also wants to be a fashion designer, which I think, in a way, makes her different from Victoria, because Victoria seemed to lean definitely more into just photography. Rivera wants to take photos of her own work. It is a little selfish, I guess, self-centered, if you want to give it a label, but not really. She has passion. She cares about her craft. Being a photographer and then snapping her own clothesline or models in her clothes, well, that's just the best for Rivera. So how did this change come about? Rivera, this change that made me realize, man, she is my Rivera Chance without me even looking for it, realizing it, or seeking it out. She is my Rivera Chance. This change happened when I made Maxine's newest entry yesterday. Maxine, it's the first day of school of the new year, freshman year, September 3rd, very important date. On September 3rd, Amber Fierce is the new foreign exchange student. And she comes into the classroom. Rivera sized her up, not because she was jealous, but because she knew immediately there was no competing with that girl. Whatever Amber was going to put her energy into, Rivera knew she would lose automatically. She was used to being the queen of Purity Vale School for so long, but game recognizes game, and she could tell from very early on that Amber was going to be a problem, but Maxine is never been a threat. Now, they're both in the same class that would teach them photography. I don't know if I'm going to call it art or something like a hobby class, a curriculum class. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but both of them are in there. And Rivera feels that if she's going to have a chance at keeping her title and her presence over anybody, it would be Maxine. But when they're still in high school, something happens to Maxine and it separates them. But Maxine, surprisingly, the first person who reached out to her after the tragic event of 2023, it was Rivera. I thought it was going to be other students, other classmates that I have yet to play with. It was Rivera who reached out to her. It was Rivera who checked in on her and stuck beside her because she believed Maxine. She did not believe the mayor. She believed Maxine. And she didn't tell anybody. So when you get to episode 1 and you meet Maxine 7 years later after what happened in Purity Vale, Oregon, now she's in Paris, France, and she's a celebrity Snapshot photographer. But with this development, I also went ahead and installed a flashback reference scene to Rivera, which confirmed that without shadow of a doubt, this character will come up again. Does she have a journal? No, she was never supposed to have a journal, but because I did what I did last night, Rivera needs to have a journal. Not everybody who has a journal is part of Lee GU. Most people, I think, who have journals are associated to Lee GU or connected to it in some way. I'm thinking Rivera is going to be one of those characters that has no idea that Lee GU is a thing, that Maxine gets involved with it, and that Deja and Amber are involved. Like, she's just, I feel like I need a character that just doesn't have that stress in their life, a character that is normal. And Maxine is going to need normality real quick, real fast when she gets forced into Lee GU. Rivera is perfect for this. This was not foreseen. I honestly did not want to Christianize Victoria Chase. I don't hate the girl. I did not have the energy to put up with her. Victoria, she's play Life is Strange. Follow Victoria from start to finish. Go play Before the Storm, and then maybe you'll understand why I just can't with her. But she's not a bad person, Victoria. She's just, I had to take her in doses, so I thought I'd give myself a break by not touching on Victoria. But Rivera, she's a worthy rival, I'll say that much. I think if Victoria and Rivera could be in a room, they'd sweat. They have good similarities, but they're still very different. But Rivera chases Maxine in a way that I felt Victoria would not really do for Max. And she pursues Maxine on a personal level, not just because of their passion and their love of photography, but because secretly, deep down, Rivera wants to have a soulmate status with Max. And I think I'm going to go ahead and make that more obvious in her journal. Now, you're going to hear the word soulmate thrown around a lot in these videos. You're going to see the word soulmate pop up a lot in my work. Remember, a soulmate, a platonic soulmate, is a best friend, but it's a spiritual connection. It's an emotional, spiritual, mental connection. A soulmate that is romantic and sexual, however, friendship is involved, but a man and a woman coming together and saying, you're my true soulmate, there's more that comes with the romantic, sexually driven best friend. And that's fine for the characters I got reserved for that, but you will rarely hear me use soulmate between a man and a woman or a woman and a man. You will more than likely see this term thrown around between platonic soulmates. And I think it's interesting that Rivera is giving out all the shade and acting the mean girl part towards Maxine until that journal entry last night, which reveals that this character is not only longing for that purity that she lacks and understands, but she's also broken. A lot of the characters who are soulmates in all of my works, not just Snapshot, but anything that I have ever produced, they're broken. You won't necessarily see people saying they need a soulmate, or if you get into my Malou series, certain cultures have different terms for soulmate. The Safaris use Zen and Zentha. Zen is for guys and Zentha is for a girl. For my vampires, not vampires secular, it's just a race title. You'll have to read about my vampires to see how they are not demonic, blood-sucking people. That is, no. Micah said cannibalism is a no, so therefore my vampires and my zombies cannot do that. But Garland, the despot, he forced his vampires and zombies to be cannibals. Total difference. It's not a virus. It's not a natural lifestyle. It is a forced lifestyle. I digress. Anyway, in the vampire culture, they're called thrall. The vampires use the term thrall. I know what a thrall is in the secular sense, but not in my work. I think another culture uses bondmate, and then another culture uses Ikulin. I forget. I have so many works, I can't keep up with them. But in this realm that you will encounter in Snapshot, they just stick to soulmate, but it all universally will mean the same thing no matter what work of mine you come across. The soulmate is just a platonic best friend, and they achieve a status that goes beyond mortal comprehension. So for Rivera to even want that is huge. Her journal will probably drop next week because she's only referenced in Maxine's journal, possibly Deja's. You won't actually meet Rivera until something more. You won't meet her until you get the prequel to Snapshot. She has way more camera time and a lot more dialogue that I felt set the stage for her to be the bully or just an eyesore to Deja. Honestly, an eyesore. That's it. I'm looking forward to writing her journal. Somehow I'm looking forward to writing the Christianized version of Rivera Chance. I never thought I'd get here. Ever. But it should be interesting. Now that I know that she secretly wants to have a soulmate relationship with Maxine, I might try to have her internalized thoughts come out on paper in her journal so the crowd can get a better grip of Rivera and why she will be important to Maxine when they are adults, when Maxine needs to reach for somebody outside of Lee Ji-yu, and it will click better as to how she connects with Rivera out of everybody else. Have a great day. Much love. Bye.